They know they want to start a business, and they know that business, one of the goals with the business would be to give back and to donate. From your experience, do you see people coming in and maybe saying, I would love to start a business, I want to sell X, Y, and Z, and I would love to give back a portion or things like that? Do you feel like there is kind of like a seesaw of like, or a balance of, would you recommend an LLC for that business, or do you say maybe lean towards a nonprofit? Like, do people come in with those different mindsets?
All the
How,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. So the first question I always ask is when someone wants to start a nonprofit is talk to me a little bit what is it that you want to do for the community?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to really be able to vet, is this a nonprofit infrastructure or is this a for-profit infrastructure? Because the IRS does have guidelines on charitable purposes, and so you have to be in alignment with that. You can have a nonprofit where you sell things, childcare programs, after school tutoring, colleges, hospitals, NFL, like these are all have C3 components to them, and mental health, maybe mental health provider, they
Mm-hmm.
charge for services. Absolutely okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're where it gets a little sketchy, and I'll give you an exact example is I had a client years ago that wanted to have a car wash. And so he
Okay.
wanted to sell car wash products. People could come in for car washes, but he wanted to have where it was like a community place where like you could come and while your car's getting washed, you could, you know, have a coffee with a friend or create community. And
Okay.
so I'm like, that's a little bit on the line of for-profit-y that kind of has some nonprofit component. So his ended up being a for-profit infrastructure for the car wash and the products and the selling itself. But then
Mm-hmm.
he also had a nonprofit where that car wash facility ended up also being a community center where he hosted community events, gatherings, mental health support groups, and things like that. So it's really common to see people do both.
Mm-hmm.
Think of like Petco, and they have Petco
Right.
Foundation, and Lowe's, Home Depot, and they have their foundations. So it's a fine line between what the IRS will be like, that's kind of for profity.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's interesting too. It also seems like if you have that for-profit business, that does give back. You're giving back to either another nonprofit that you're a part of, or a community-led nonprofit. I feel like that's a big differentiator for people. It's like, are you looking to support other nonprofits out there that are already carrying out a mission, or are you more passionate about starting that mission yourself?
Right,
Um, which
right.
it's really interesting. So on this podcast, I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of different entrepreneurs, business owners, founders, also people looking to grow their personal brand. And I think the nonprofit space is one that can feel a little bit overwhelming. And I think
Confusing.
the compassion fatigue, I think you mentioned, that's a really, really great way to say it for someone that's very, empathetic and wants to give back, but also wants to get started in this and maybe doesn't have a business background. I think for a lot of people, funding seems like a really big fear. So if you're looking to start to give back and you're like, okay, but where do I even get started? How do I find the money to do this? Do you offer any sort of sustainable revenue strategies? And but beyond looking for like, a grant or a donation online, like what are some other opportunities that people have that they can say, okay, I'm going to get started on this and I feel a little bit less scared going into the funding?